Well, it's the three words you don't want to say if you're in New Orleans. Nickel Roby Coleman, the non-call on the Rams corner, still elicits rage, disappointment from Saints fans, to which left tackle Andrew Whitworth says, tough. Whitworth telling the Rich Eisen show that the Saints should have done what the Rams did. That would be come back and win the game.
It's an excuse wherever you cut it. And the reality is they got the football after that snap. They played in overtime with the football. New England had the same situation and won the game. They didn't score. We did. We can argue about it all day, but they had an opportunity to win the game, and we won it.
All right, so Andrew Whitworth not apologizing whatsoever. And it was a point that I believe Nate and you and MJD were kind of going back and forth and saying that the fact they got the ball back still, the Saints, and couldn't do anything with it, but the Rams did, and ultimately they are in the Super Bowl. That was a bad non-call, as we know, but the Rams were able to finish off the job.
Appreciate the news, Will Selva, and that soundbite from Andrew Whitworth making his first Super Bowl appearance, a veteran in the league and on that team, of course. MJD, we have you do the radio calls for the Rams. Well, you were in the building. Yeah,
I was there. It was a crazy game, a crazy atmosphere. First, I have to say this. I'd like to thank all the Saints fans. You guys, the hospitality there was amazing. Great gumbo, great fried shrimp, catfish. We had it all in the pregame. Reggie Bush was there. Obviously, they were doing it for Reggie. I just kind of took some snacks off.
Just a friend he brought to the barbecue.
Yeah, that's all it was. But I remember, my first time ever coaching. I was coaching high school football for my high school, and I kind of went out to a couple coaches that I knew in the league. And the first thing they told me was never leave it in the ref's hands. That's the most important thing when you're a coach. Never leave it in the ref's hands because they're human. They're going to make human mistakes. There's always human errors always in these situations. I think in that situation, the right play was to run the ball 3 times, kick the field goal, and then put all the pressure on the Rams offense. Well, when you throw the ball on first down, it's incomplete. Then you try to run it, you get tackled for a loss. And then you throw the ball here. At the end of the day, you're putting this again, you're putting the game into the ref's hands to call a pass interference when this crew has been notoriously known to let players play. Now, granted, it's a horrible call. You're supposed to call it. But in this situation, in this point in the game, they didn't. And, if you just ran the ball, you'd have been fine.
Don't cry over spilled milk is your motto with this.
Yeah, I mean, you win some, you lose some. I'm a Raiders. I grew up a Raiders fan, so you don't think I'm upset about the tuck rule?
Yeah.
It is what it is. It still haunts a lot of people. I think Charles Woodson tweeted about it as well. So.
And as much as you want to, pick one play, we can isolate plays throughout history of the game, and particularly throughout that specific game that could have went either way, and blown calls that didn't happen in the game that benefited both teams. Right. But it all boils down to what we're saying. You had a chance to win it in overtime. Like I said, and I'll repeat it again quickly, when I was talking to my son, I said, if a ref takes a game away from you and the game's over, you can be emotional. You can be over-emotional. I'll pat you on the back. I'll give you a hug and a kiss. But if the ref makes a call or a no call and you still have a chance to win the game and you fall apart because you're worried about the call and you don't win the game, that's on you as a player. And these are professional athletes. They get paid to win the game. And the one thing you want out of all, if the call doesn't go your way, you want another chance to win it. And the Saints did, and they couldn't close out.
One thing I want to talk about, though, is now we're 72 hours to moving towards 96 hours. Yeah. When is this not going to be a story?
I was about to ask you.
Because the Saints fans are not letting it go, and now you're going to see lawyers come out of the woodwork saying, I'm going to cut petitions. You're going to see congressmen trying to get things going. I don't think it's going away, and Super Bowl is next Sunday. Yeah. And I'm not sure this isn't still going to be the story Super Bowl week, and I think the NFL would love to turn the page and say, let's move on. But if you check Twitter and you check our show, Saints fans are still outraged about this.
And Atlanta's not that far from New Orleans, so expect a lot of them to come up and do certain things. I think some people have put billboards out in Atlanta already. Again, they're very passionate.
And I'm not mad at them for that.
No,
I don't blame them.
I'm not mad, but going in that locker room and talking to those guys after, they all said to a man, they got the ball first in OT. You could have ended the game if you wanted to. And they didn't. Dante Fowler got pressured. Drew Brees threw the ball up. John Johnson gets the pick. That's the game. And that ended up being the game because they didn't move the ball that much on offense after that. I think they might have got a couple yards. You kicked a 57-yarder, which he nailed. Right?
I'd wonder if the Rams beat the Patriots Super Bowl, will Saints fans say that the Rams won the Super Bowl, or are they still going to say?
Oh, no. I've talked to a bunch of them on Twitter and Instagram. They're still saying that they should be in there and that they're going to have a parade. And
I brought it up yesterday because I've seen a lot of the Rams are cheaters out there, and I'm like, how did you put those two things together? A no call, which was flagrant, and obvious up against the Rams, who did their job and put the game away. Like, and Saints fans were really mad at me yesterday about saying that. Don't come after the Rams. Don't not support the NFC team. They didn't do anything wrong. They got a call that went in their favor. It's happened to Drew Brees. He admitted that at the podium himself. So you can be mad at the league. I think the league has an issue here with trust in their fans, which I do have faith that they will address in the league meetings and onward, like they did with the catch rule. But don't be mad at the Rams fans. I stick by that. I was getting lit up. People are mad at the Rams. What did the Rams do?
No, and Whitworth said it best. Like, hey, enough. You had the opportunity. So I think the Rams players feel slighted that the story after that game has not been the Rams had this heroic comeback. The story is the refs screwed the Saints.
Right.
That's not fair to the Rams players.
But that's a good thing going into this Super Bowl is that you feel slighted. So you're going to go in there with a little bit more focus, a little bit more attention. It's just a little different. You know how it is.
Is the storyline going to be dominating next week, you think?
It might play a role.
It's not going away.
Tuck rule still brought up.
Honestly, if I go down my mentions right now, it will not. People are arguing back and forth. There are lawyers,
Just wait till the offseason.
Yeah.
A lot of segments on that.
Hashtag GMFB with your thoughts, of course. And let's